Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Hope you are fine. Welcome in your English class. Dear student, today we are going to revise again story number 19 from your ORC book page number 144. Unit number 19, Lazy Bones Jones. Jason Jones was the laziest boy in the class. He was known as JJ to some, but Lazy Bones Jones to most of the children in his school. When Mr. Dogan, the teacher for class 4, asked who will help me in tied up, Jones would always find something important to do. He would tie his shoelaces or rummage about in his desk for a pencil or close his eyes and front to show he was deep in thought. When he was being particularly dramatic, he would clutch his stomach and grimace in pain. Jones never volunteered for anything, and when it was time to clean or tidy well, Jones became Lightning Jones. He was there 1 second and gone the next. The children liked Mr. Dogan immensely. He had a good sense of humor and was cheerful. He was always ready to help when they had a problem. He joined them at games and never missed the chance to watch them playing cricket. This was his favorite game, and he often used examples from it when he addressed the children. Play it with a straight bat, Charlie, he would say when Charlie Morris, the storyteller of the class, began to tell one of his stories. Well fielded, you caught that just in time. To Mary Mathers when she understood a joke. That's stumped you, Bob. To Bob Smith when he could not answer a question. A hat-trick, Mike, keep it up, and you will get promoted in the batting order. To Mike Button, who always did well in his tests, but who was not the brightest pupil in the class. Out for a duck ball. To Paul Jamison, who often got no marks at all for his maths. You will be the owner of the oil pretty soon. And he would encourage the class with, come on guys, be team players. Don't let the side down. On Monday morning, Mr. Dogan told the children he was being put in charge of the weekend camping trip to Downford Nature. It's a great place and you will enjoy it, he told them when they had come down. But I want you all to do your fair share, teamwork and all that, eh? The children promised to help. Only JJ mumbled something and did not look too keen. There was much debate about what they should take, where they would sleep, what they would eat, and so on. Mr. Dogan answered all their questions. The rest of the weekend passed without incident. Plans were made and the excitement in the class grew. Not much serious work was done. On Friday, the children got to school early. A large coach waited for them in a school car park. Parents and children stood around in little groups waiting for someone in authority to show their face. And soon Mr. Dogan appeared with a beaming smile. Mr. Dogan went from group to group and chatted merrily with the parents, assured them that their little darling would have a wonderful trip, and that every effort had been made to ensure their safety and comfort. After the equipment, food and bags had been packed into the coach, Mr. Dogan announced that the children should board the coach. The excited children said their farewells. Some were tearful. Then all the heads on the board the coach had been counted at least 4 times, and the driver was in his seat. The coach moved off. As it passed out the school gates and rumbled on the road, the children burst into a song. We were all going on a summer holiday. Fun and laughter for a day or two. The children, and like an infection, the singing and laughter soon spread to those children who had tearful earlier on. The bus sped on to open countryside. At 4 o'clock, the coach turned off the main highway onto a narrow road. It soon passed through a grain gateway with a sign that read, "Down for Nature." The children pointed and spoke excitedly about what they could see out of the windows. JJ was not impressed. "It looks to me," he said. "I hope someone has got our tea ready. I am starving." Janet Tompkins, who was sitting beside him, said, "Your tea will be ready when you will make it. It's not a hotel we are going to, it's a camp." "Quite right," said Mr. Dogan from the seat in front. "We shall light a fire to make some tea, then put up the tents, then collect wood, then make dinner, and then sleep. We have a lot to do, don't you think?" "Yes, sir," mumbled JJ, scowling at Janet. The built to the hall and the children out. Teams were organized and the tents were sewn up and flapping in the breeze. The children were all exhausted, hungry and thirsty, but they were also very excited and pleased to be out in the open. Mr. Dogan had lighted a fire with a few sticks, and the water for the tea was now bubbling away. "We shall need lots more wood for the fire," he announced after tea. "I want you to collect dry firewood." Children drank their tea and ate slices of cake. Then off they ran to collect wood for the fire. Jay went off with the others but ambled about looking at the trees. There was very little wood about, and he did not want to go too far. At last he came to a tree with no leaves on it. Thought JJ, "There is plenty of wood on that tree. It's brown and leafless. It must be dead. I'll sit under the tree and break off the branches." In a little while, JJ sat under the tree and soon nodded off. The children searching for wood over the park. When darkness began to fall, Mr. Dogan called the children back. Heads were counted and then counted again. Names were called out. Then the children were asked to get into a line. Mr. Dogan had a worried expression on his face. "Who on the earth is missing?" asked Mr. Dogan. "Don't know, sir," cried the children chorus. Then Charlie the joker in the park shouted, "Will the boy or girl who is missing please put up their hand?" The children laughed, and Mr. Dogan too allowed himself a smile. "Right," said Mr. Dogan. "We shall have to take a roll call." He called out the names from a list, and it was soon clear that Jones was missing. "Go off in pairs and search for him," said Mr. Dogan. "Shout out his name or clap your hand, but come back with Jones." The children thought this was great fun, and off they went. JJ woke up with a start when they heard his name and called from different parts of the park. "Oh my gosh," he exclaimed, as he looked around and saw that it was dark. "I shall have to get a move on, or I'll be in trouble." JJ climbed up the tree and began to pick off branches, but this was not so easy because the branches were not dead at all. Under the brown surface, they were green. The shouts of JJ, "Lazy Bones, where are you? Wake up, wake up, where are you?" got louder. JJ worked furiously, pulling and tearing at the branches with all his might. This was hard work, and he did not like it, but neither did he want to show the others that he had been completely idle. JJ jumped down from the tree and hurriedly gathered the branches together in a bundle. Then he tucked the bundle under his arm and walked back towards the campsite. He found a large stack of sticks which had been collected by the others. "Oof," he said loudly as he placed his bundle on top of the stack. Mr. Dogan had a few things to say to JJ about being late, but he was secretly quite pleased that JJ had actually collected quite a large bundle of wood. Dinner was ready, and the children all ate well. They helped the servants and the cleaning up afterwards. Then the company sat around the campfire and sung songs and played games. We have an early start tomorrow, announced Mr. Dogan, noticing that some of the children had begun to yawn. It will take us 15 minutes to get down to the lake. We should be there no later than 6:30. If we were late, we want to be able to see the animals. Those of you who are making the tea in the morning, make sure you start work early. After that, they all went off to their tents to sleep and to dream about the animals they would see. In the children who were on tea duty were up at the top of town. The other woke up too and began to get themselves ready for the trip down to the lake. For the trip down to the lake. But from one tent there came the sound of regular but rather louder snoring. JJ was still fast asleep. At 6 o'clock, Mr. Dogan began a template with a spoon and shouted loudly, "Come on, campers, line up for your tea. Drink it quickly because we should leave soon." "Please, sir," cried Mary breathlessly, running up to Mr. "He is not ready yet." "We couldn't get the fire to light," said Jack. "The sticks would not burn. They all are green. We took them from the top of the pile," added Mary. "And who put them there?" asked Mr. Dogan. "I asked you to collect dry sticks yesterday. Now we shall miss seeing the animals." The children shuffled their feet and looked down in shame. Only the snoring of Lazybones Jones broke the silence of the town. So dear student, your homework is read story 19. Send your reading in WhatsApp group. Hope you understand. Allah Hafiz.